We're back, but not in one piece. I feel horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is terrible. We got what some people call the con crud.
Yeah, I mean, I expected to because we're around so many people, but like, I didn't want to.
Our friend Dakota said we should have did more fist bumps.
I mean, you're still touching hands.
So we're ill. We're not feeling very good. So this video will be unedited because I don't have time to edit it. We've been sort of lounging and sleeping all day, and I don't feel like tomorrow's going to be any different. We're just a mess.
Yeah, so I'd like to apologize in advance in case my nose starts running. You might have to like watch me clean that up, which is going to be sort of gross. But yeah, I'm sort of jealous of everybody because everyone's posting their hauls, and I really wanted like our first video back to be our haul. And I mean, it sort of is. My haul's right here. I got sick. That's my haul.
I had a halls earlier for my throat.
It is not COVID. We did test negative, but it is something really, really nasty. I have like a low grade fever.
Yeah.
Right now.
I just feel horrible.
Yeah.
Overall, I feel horrible.
Yeah, tired, yucky in here.
Enough about us.
Yeah.
Enough about us. Let's talk about Funko for a second.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I want to talk about Funko. I want to talk about disc trackers. I want to talk about what Funko told us. The CEO told us that we are one of our videos was watched by them and they remedied a situation because of us.
Yes.
So it goes to show you that our voice carries throughout the collector community, which is really great.
Yes.
So it's awesome to hear Funko tell us directly. And by the way, this is not something where it's like it's making my head big or anything like that. I guess my point is that it feels good to know that we, the small Gastlecast channel, can make change. And
yeah.
I think that goes for all other channels out there, big, small, it doesn't matter. If you stamp your feet hard enough and you yell loud enough, then you can make change happen. We'll talk about that change.
Yeah, so one thing that is interesting is a lot of people do say, you know, the Gastlecast is negative, and we've always said no. Okay, sometimes we've been a bit negative and over the top, but for the most part, we critique them. We talk about the things that we love that they do, and we also talk about the things that we feel could be better and done in a better way. And we don't typically offer criticism unless we also offer a way for things to be made better in our opinion. And, you know, as collectors, something may seem better to us, but it might not be good for their business.
Or make financial sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think that we make sense for the most part. And what Chris is about to tell you is sort of proof as to how and why. So let's talk about how we were approached. I believe it was Friday or Saturday?
Saturday was a huge day because we were being approached by all sorts of people on Saturday.
Yeah, so we were talking to somebody, I forget who it was. We were talking to somebody at our booth, and I see someone dressed in a Funko shirt come by, and I recognize her, but I was like, where do I know that face from? And it was Leslie from Funko's social media team, whom I've seen many times before in their videos.
Yeah.
And she very patiently waited her turn. She was with another person, and they came up, introduced themselves, gifted us some Bitty Pops and a pop.
They gave us the Bitty Pops, and they gave us the Freddy Funko headless figure, which is really great.
So nice. And then
we'll show that in our haul, by the way.
Yes, we will.
All the stuff that they gave us, we'll show that in our haul.
Our non-sick haul.
Yeah. Our non-sick haul.
But then later, I would say like 10 to 15 minutes later, Leslie returned with somebody else.
Yeah, and this time I recognized right away who she brought with her, which was Funko CEO Cynthia Williams, which I got to tell you, it's a mind-blowing event because that morning, Brian Mariotti, former Funko CEO, showed up at our booth to talk to us about Thrilljoy and to invite us over to his booth to take a look at, you know, kind of see what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we ended up going there the very next morning. But when Cynthia showed up, I was like, this is like a double whammy. First we have Brian Mariotti, and now we have Cynthia Williams.
We got all the CEOs. Who's next?
All the CEOs. And let me tell you, just from a perspective as a fan, as a, social media person who talks about Funko, just across the board, I don't let situations or opportunities like this just slip away and through my fingers. It isn't like, oh my God, jump up and down, you're the best, and I love you. See you later. It was, this is my time to tell how I feel. And
in true Gastlecast fashion, Chris did.
And I did. And right now, I feel really good about it. The day after the conversation happened, I was sort of feeling stupid a little bit.
No,
I'm like,
you shouldn't feel stupid.
Maybe I said too much, or maybe I did too much. But I may never get that opportunity to talk directly to Cynthia Williams ever again. So I wanted to take the opportunity, and I wanted to treat it. I like to treat my conversations seriously. I don't want them to think that I find like I'm making a joke out of it, or it's some sort of, I don't know, like I'm poking fun at Funko or something, because that isn't what it is. It was more or less like, hey, here are some issues that I'm seeing. What can you do for us? And it just so happened that just feet away from us was Funko Finders and Disc Trackers, who, by the way, fantastic people, love them to death. I consider them, we had talked to them before, but I feel like we actually made a connection and we're friends now. Like, I feel like they're really good people. We really got along, and it was great conversation.
It really was. And
really
I wish that we could have spent more time with them, but the booth was like
The booth was crazy, but I hung out with I would say I hung out with Dis for, at least a solid 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, we hung out and talked about all sorts of stuff. Very engaging. Just talking about just everything in general, right? So that was really great. But Cynthia Williams is standing now in front of me, talking to me, and I want to be respectful. Because we're talking, this is a CEO of a multi-million dollar, I guess billion-dollar company right now.
Close to billion.
I would say it has to be in the billion. I don't know the numbers right now, but we're with her and the social media representative. I mean, I would suggest the two most important people of their booth are now with us, over at MISCHIEF Toys. It was mind-blowing. And so a couple of things that I kicked off with was, Disc Trackers is right next to us. How do we get his account back up? Like, what do we do? And she stated that they are working behind the scenes to get it to work out.
So one thing that was said was, I didn't realize that it was one more strike and you're out.
Yeah.
So realistically, as a company, they do have to protect their intellectual property. I mean, what happened was a Marvel property. Do I agree with him being targeted? No. I feel like the person that was targeted should have been the person who put that on the internet in the first place, because Dis simply shared it.
Yes.
I feel like you can share things and you might not realize exactly that it is a spoiler. Like, what if he doesn't watch Marvel and doesn't realize that it was an actual spoiler for the show, and he was just showing off, okay, this is like a new character that'll be in pop form. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Who's to say that it is a spoiler? And I understand that there's going to be people that fight about it and say, well,
I'm not going to go back and forth about it anymore, because we already have done that. No, in other words, I'm not going back and forth with somebody about that.
No, I know.
Because it got really ugly a couple times, but the reality is that if we post something on social media, who are we to say if it's a leak or not? Well,
yeah.
We've already talked about this a lot.
A lot of people will argue, like, if Funko doesn't post it themselves, then it is a leak. But that's not necessarily true, because how many times have we seen Funko Pop show up in stores and Funko's marketing, wasn't that great, and we had no idea it was out? You know what I mean?
This stuff happens all the time. So it's really, really sucks that it had to happen to Dis. But they're remedying it. I made sure to bring it up.
They're trying to.
And I didn't know this, but this was open to meeting the Funko CEO. And I would have made that connection, but I didn't know to make that connection. I didn't know if he wanted to be revealed.
Yeah.
Now I kind of wish that I did, because that may have helped the situation and pushed it even along a little bit further. I almost did, but you told me not to. I almost did.
No, I didn't. You just kept pointing.
Yeah. But it was almost like revealing Bruce Wayne or something. Like Batman was standing next to us. Okay, so we directly attacked that. That was, or not attacked it, but we brought that up. We wanted to make sure that there's resolution to this, because it's very important to Dis. He's a friend, and his business. This is how Dis makes money. This is out there, and a great news source.
Not just that, but like all of those news sources help Funko in crazy ways.
So that's basically what I said. I said to her, the CEO, that I said, well, these guys are incredibly important to Funko. So we got to get this guy back online. I think that's exact my words. I think is what I said to her. Close to it. But anyway, she said she's getting that on board. Anyway, we've talked about that in now way too long. So then the other thing that I mentioned was entertainment value and showmanship over the amount of toys that you bring to, or the collectibles you bring to the show. Yes. Because the booth is this humongous booth, which they had a nice looking booth. I didn't go over to it too much. I saw it maybe once or twice. It was a normal Funko booth, but let's have, like, I don't know, I didn't say this part, but let's have like 10 exclusives to the show only, and then have like 10 that are at home things or something. Yeah. And then you get people that are at the booth, they get in and they get out, and then you can do some other special and fun things. Like, and the booth doesn't even have to be as big. You don't have to take up such a big footprint. You can shrink it down. But I think there's a lot to be said about these booths. They take up this huge footprint, which is great. But the problem is that you have a wrapped around windy line the entire time. And on the outside of that are people with bags as tall as them, full of product that you know they're just turning around and selling. Mm-hmm. Like, that's all it is. You see this analogy of this. Not that it's an issue. People like to resell, and some people make their money that way, and that's how they live. But the Funko experience shouldn't be like this. It should be different. And because Cynthia was there, I decided I was going to shoot my shot and say, Cynthia, here, let me just put a little bug in your head here. You're right. Let's do that. Let's see what happens. Let's see if she takes that and does something with it. Because she seems to be the type of person who listens.
She does. But what do you want them to do?
I would love to see panels. I would love to see meet-up events. I would like
a fright night?
Maybe not even a fright night, but just organize something where everybody's there in the same room. I'd like to see an official Funko event. And it doesn't have to be ticketed. It can just be a bunch of people hanging out. They could hand out a couple freebies. Just something fun. I think that that's what they need to bring to the Funko experience.
Absolutely.
At these conventions.
Or it can be ticketed, and it can be more of a show, and it can be more
then
of
you
like
end up spending, they're spending like so much money to do that.
They are,
and
but
not to mention Fright Night
good.
was a disaster last time it happened. So I'm saying, like, I don't want them to think that that's what I'm asking for, or that what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that they get all of the collectors into a room and have have a fun time. It doesn't need to be a big song and dance. Yeah, like they can do something where it doesn't have to be Fright Night or Fun Days. It doesn't have to be that. Okay. But anyway, the focus should be on something else other than just this big booth experience with a line wrapped around it and people with all their bags on the outskirts of the booth. That's just my opinion. They should change it. So I mentioned that. That was something that I thought that maybe should be said. But she turned around and she goes, well, let me tell you how you guys have changed things over at Funko, or something that you guys have done, something that your voice has done. And it had to do with Funko and Drop and people not receiving their Funko Pops from the NFT stuff.
Yeah, so if you are new to the channel or you maybe missed this video, we posted a video. It was literally the first day or the day after she started as Funko CEO. And basically someone was emailing us, letting us know, hey, Drop said that they were going to resolve this for me a year ago. I have been emailing them constantly with no response. I've been emailing them for literally, I think it was just under a year at that point, like a handful of days under a year. And we came on here and we said that's absolutely unacceptable. Like, customer service should be number one. I mean, okay, after providing the product, right? but customer service should be number one within reason. So, for example, you know, I understand if you have the tiniest ding on the back of a Funko box or something, or maybe like just something teeny tiny, and Funko's like, hey, sorry, we can't replace that, it's too minor. But when you're talking about major damage or someone just flat out not receiving what they are owed, that's a problem.
Yeah. And so when we made our video, we talked about this person waiting for product for over a year. And it was so ridiculous. We honestly, we couldn't even believe that this was a true story, but they gave us all the receipts. They showed us everything. They showed us all the discussions, all the emails. Well, apparently that video made it to Cynthia Williams. And
yes.
She handed it to the right people to make things happen. And we know that because the person who that we made the video about, they reached out to us and said, hey, things are in motion. Like the wheels are turning.
Yeah.
They're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God, how'd that even happen? It happened so quickly.
It was like less than a week later. So
yes.
Apparently what she had done was she told the entire team, and she even said, don't just take care of this person, figure out who else has not been taken care of and take care of it, because this is not how our fans should be treated.
Yeah. And that's great. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better. I'm about to choke here. You couldn't ask for anything better. So Cynthia Williams, as far as I'm concerned, is a very stand-up individual.
Yes.
It seems like she's trying to affect change. Now, of course, a lot of you are going to bring up what happened over with Hasbro and all these other things that she's been involved. Magic Gathering, D&D. There's a lot of stuff that happened with her. But let's just be hopeful that things are going to be much different with Funko.
Yeah.
One thing that really, really shocked me was the fact that they reposted a photo that we posted.
Yeah.
And they said that they want to make fun and mischief at New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
Fun and mischief at NYCC, which is something that was posted on their story. This is unbelievable. So here's why this is unbelievable. We have no connection to them. Like, we have no business dealings with them. Funko has always stayed very far away from us, and for rightfully so, because we have been very critical about them. But here's what I'm starting to learn. These companies, Funko and companies like Thrilljoy, they want and need criticality. They need this. And it's important to their business. And the reason why is that you can have Funko influencers go on and scream and holler and have a good time and show off all their hauls and, oh my God, look how awesome Funko is, and they're great and they're great and they're great. They can do that all day long. And we've done that ourselves.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if there are things that we're seeing that could be better, things that are going wrong, or somebody's hitting us up on our DM saying they didn't receive a Funko Pop, we have to say something about it. We have to affect change. It's important. We all should be doing this. All Funko social media people should be doing this. Or Thrilljoy social media people should be doing this, because we're going to start talking about Thrilljoy in a bigger way. We're going to have a video come out this week, and I'm not entirely sure when or any other information about it. But a video will go up where we discuss everything that happened with Thrilljoy that we can discuss, because there are some behind the scenes things we can't really discuss. Show you some of the things that they handed us. If you saw the photo on Instagram, you'll see exactly what they handed us already, but we're going to show it to you, like, and play with it right here. Yeah. The way that we were treated both by Funko and Thrilljoy was unbelievable.
Yeah.
They both pointed out that they like that we are critical and we tell them what needs to happen, or like we give them honest feedback. They both like that. Now, I'm not going to say that they always like that, or that everything that we say is agreeable, but what it appears is that they are finally seeing the value in content like ours.
So the reason it's so important to both of those companies, one, Thrilljoy is a startup. As a startup, you know, things with any company, things are going to change over time.
Yeah.
One thing that I mentioned on a post somewhere on social media recently was there's a lot of people being critical about Thrilljoy, the price point and the size of the items. But the thing is, I feel like a lot of people who we surround ourselves with are Funko collectors. Funko collectors are used to the under $20 price points, and they're used to little tiny figures, and you can stack a whole bunch in one room. Now with Thrilljoy picks in particular, they're about the size of 2.5 Funko Pops outside of the box.
Yeah.
Or the picks outside of the box is about 2.5
of regular Funko Pops.
Yeah, Funko Pops in the box. So they are larger, and their price point is about triple what a Funko Pop would cost.
Right.
So I understand that critique from the people who are used to less expensive and smaller items.
We'll get way more deep into that with the Thrilljoy video.
For sure. But one point that I'd really like to make is, if you bring that to their attention, they could possibly eventually in the future make something that's more compact and that's more appetizing for a wide variety of collectors' wallets. They might have their picks, which are larger and a bit more expensive, and they might have something a bit smaller for other people,
Absolutely.
Right?
And we gave all of our critiques about Thrilljoy, which we'll discuss a little bit about that. Our critiques on Thrilljoy and what they're doing, which I really love what they're doing a lot. But I gave our critiques just like I did with Funko. Now, they may or may not listen to what we have to say. I think that is awesome that they're keeping an ear open, at least, to hear what we have to say. I think that is the best thing that I learned during this whole trip.
Yeah.
But having 2 CEOs show up to our booth in one single day and one single convention is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Here's my question, I guess, for the world. And I want to know this because I don't know the answer to this. Has this ever happened before to anybody else? In other words, that the CEO of Funko walks over, the CEO of Thrilljoy, Brian Marriott. Now, we had already sort of formed a relationship with him in advance, so we kind of expected to see him at some point.
Yeah, but
to have them both walk over to the booth is, in my opinion, is just mind-blowing.
Same. I thought for sure we were going to have to track Brian specifically down.
It shows to me that they actually give a crap.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's like Mischief Toys and Gastlecast were the greatest thing in the whole world, so that's why they showed up. All I'm saying is that they are showing like, hey, we give a shit. And to me, that means a lot to me personally. That means, and I know it means a lot to you as well. It means a lot to us.
Yeah. Another thing I was going to say is, I mentioned Thrilljoy being a startup, and that's why opinions are very important. But Funko having opinions from collectors like us is very important too, because as we've mentioned numerous times, they're a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they listen to their shareholders now, and their shareholders are there wanting to make as much money as possible, right?
Right.
So, that's where you get the overproduction. That's where you get the less limited pieces. That's where you get the same goddamn character over and over, because they're like, well, everybody loves Batman, but they don't take into consideration that we already have like 200 Batmans. So,
which is why I love Blue from Thrilljoy so much. Yes. Because they're focused more on their own IP, their own character. I'll explain later what I said to Brian.
Yeah.
In a different video.
Blue is awesome.
I kind of pushed the subject about Blue, how important it is.
I agree, but I think it's important for Funko to listen to their shareholders because they do need to make money, but a lot of their shareholders are people that just invest in businesses, and they don't necessarily have the collector brain like a lot of us do. I mean, you and I have been collecting for over 10 years now. I think that the collector's opinion, the people who are buying their product, is more important than somebody who just says, I just want to make money, just make 1,000 gazillion of those
unfortunately,
items.
Shareholders, all they care about is money, Heather.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. That's the unfortunate part.
Right,
it's up to the CEO to explain to the shareholders, like, here's why these things are important, because you'll make your money triple fold if we do it the right way instead of overproduction.
Yeah,
which
you have to make collectors happy.
Again, something that we discussed with Thrill of Joy. I mean, we literally just I don't know, just spilt not spilt the beans, but we just spilt the collector blood that we had. We just gave everything. Like, here's everything that we're thinking and everything that we're feeling. And like I said, maybe they didn't want to hear all of it, but they got it anyway. So in the future, hey, we might be making more change down the road, just based off the things that we said at New York Comic Con.
Yeah, I mean, we have, right now, after Cynthia approached us, we have more than just changing, what was his name?
Oh yeah, the Zordon.
Yeah, Zordon.
Yeah, we changed Zordon. But there's so much that happened in New York Comic Con, and we're going to kind of give you bits and pieces of it throughout this week and probably into next week. There's so much to discuss, especially about Thrill Joy, because I think that we all are excited to see something new hit the market.
I agree.
I'm not talking about independent toys like Abominable Toys and Mischief Toys, right? We're all around and we're always doing fun things and having all this, good times. But Funko, people at the level of Funko, right? Thrill Joy, they're a big guy coming in. Mm-hmm. It's interesting to see what they have to offer, and also interesting to see what they're going to do. Yeah. So I'm really excited to discuss like our thoughts on what Thrill Joy did at New York Comic Con. A little bit of conversations that we had while we were there, the ones that we can at least talk about, and also show you all of those great items that we were able to obtain while we were at the Thrill Joy booth. Boy, it was such a good time. New York Comic Con was so great. Was it worth this, whatever I have right now? I have no idea. Yeah, sure, it was. It was worth it because we had such a great time. If it means I'm sick for a couple days, then so be it. But look, Mischief Toys. That's something we want to talk about for a second. If you go and buy a Demonstro figure right now.
A orange blacklight skeleton Demonstro.
Yes, which is part of our line from New York Comic Con. He was the at-home figure.
Looks incredible.
I love this figure. He's so cool. I love the blacks and oranges. He matches the little black and orange Ghastly that was at the show. He is up on the website. There's a handful of them left. If you go and buy one right now, you will have the opportunity to win yourself a King Kong Ghastly. Look at these boys. Look at them.
These were exclusive to Night of Mischief. However, we have these guys available. Now, if we sell out by the end of tonight, one person will get an artist proof of both of these figures. Still got a whole lot of these guys on the website. I do not anticipate selling out this evening.
Okay.
But I would love to.
Okay.
But I wanted to up it a little bit.
You're upping the ante.
Yeah. If we can sell out by tonight, like midnight tonight, I will give an artist proof of each of these, plus the 2 holographic artist proofs of the Night of Mischief prints.
Whoa. So the prints and figures, you can get all 4.
And pins. So 6.
And pins. Oh my God, you're getting AP of everything.
Yeah.
So, if you want to win all that, go and buy your Demonstro right now. Hurry it up. Get over there. Get to the website. Make your purchase. And then we'll see if we can select a winner. Now, if that doesn't happen, we will select one of the 2 of these APs to be won by somebody who purchased Demonstro by the end of this week.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll do. So thank you. We appreciate all of you guys.
Thank you guys.
Remember to check out MISCHIEFToys.com for all of your Ghastly, Demonstro, and Mortem needs. We'll have leftover NYCC stuff go up on the website very soon. In addition to that, we have Halloween week coming next week, and there's some super serious killer stuff coming throughout the entire week. So make sure that you've prepared yourself for a little mischievous Halloween. Let us know what you think about all of this and more in the comment section down below. In every video, we like to shout out to some of our patrons from Patreon. In this video, we'd like to shout out to Juan Miguel, Jeremy DeLeon, Derek Brown, Kate T, Edward Joseph, Ash Manor, Go K Daddy, Doug Blair, Brian Gracie, and Susan. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. We appreciate all of our patrons. You guys are awesome. And check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Gastlecast. This upcoming weekend on Saturday, we are going to be going live on our Patreon. Oh my God.
Sorry.
We're going to be going live on our Patreon with our patrons, which is the 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Now at 8 p.m. Eastern, between 8 and 9, it'll be a hangout session for all of our patrons from Patreon. At 9, we will come on live, doing all sorts of great giveaways, hanging out. It's going to be a real blast. We have New York Comic Con exclusives. We have some MISCHIEF Toys New York Comic Con exclusives as well. It's going to be exclusives from everywhere. Jimmy's. I think we have some dumpster fires. We got all sorts of stuff. In fact, we have those new skeleton dumpster fires to give away for Halloween. I think the Frankenstein dumpster fires. You're not going to want to miss this one. This is going to be a huge, huge giveaway. So make sure you tune in, hang out. Patreon.com/Gastlecast. You're supporting this channel in a really big way by going there. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell. That way you'll know anytime we go live or post brand new content. You don't want to miss a new content. We have a real blast here. So make sure you check us out every single day when we post new content. Now, we've been sick, but I promise over the coming days we will make sure to post new content for you. Thrill Joy content is coming very soon. Our haul video is coming very soon, and much, much more. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for sticking around till the very end. We appreciate you. Now go buy yourself a Demonstro. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.